Well, welcome back to another video. I know this is the third episode of It Followed Me Home. That seems to be what I'm posting more of lately. But it is springtime, summer, early summer, which is also flea market season, garage sale season, antique show season. So I've been doing a lot of that lately. I'll definitely get back to building more projects soon, probably with some of these things too. But figured I'd show you guys, for those that are interested, what I've acquired recently or what followed me home. So this wasn't all in one weekend. This was over the course of a couple weeks now, a few weeks now. We got it at some various different places. There's a flea market that I regularly go to up north, Pulaski, that I got a number of these at, and then on the way back home from that, I had stopped at an estate sale where I picked up a few of these items, and then another antique show down south of me. There's a pretty big antique community down there. I found a number of the other things. So starting at the beginning, kind of go on top here. I posted a short video of this, but didn't really show the whole thing. This was one of the items I found at an estate sale. So it's a Daniel Boone Turner Day Woolworth handle co. So in talking with some others, I guess like the Daniel Boone is their one of their lines for Turner Day Woolworth handle company. So I'm not sure if that's one of their higher quality ones or their lower quality ones. It really is a very nice straight grain, straight piece of hickory. I think it's 31 inches, maybe 32. Can't remember. 34 and a half. So a little bit longer than what I usually like, but that might be real nice on if I use it, if I can bring myself to use it. I kind of just like keeping it as a keepsake, but it is really nice and straight. So I might end up using it. Might save it for one of the special rafter heads that I have. Yeah, that was one of the items that I got at an estate sale. And at that same place, it was an older gentleman that had passed away, lived a little bit north of me. His family was cleaning out the house and had a whole garage full of tools. I was joking with the family that was selling it. I'd like to buy all of it, but can't exactly transport his whole garage, or nor really want everything that was there. So, but one of the other things that caught my eye while I was there is this older Plews, I think that's how you pronounce it, oiler. It was one that had the really long spout. It looks like this one had some kind of attachment maybe that you could mount it on something. It's kind of like a set screw that's in there. So I don't know if it, made for mounting on a drill press or something like that, or some kind of, a mill for oiling, dispensing cutting fluid. But yeah, so I picked that up because I thought it was nice and gave me a great price on it, so couldn't pass that up. So that was everything from the estate sale. I actually got a drill press too, but I'm not going to drag that over. Then, as far as recency goes, I picked this up at a down south during at a flea market, an indoor one. But it is make sure you can pick this up. So it's an LL Bean. It says Freeport, Maine. So this is actually a Snow and Neely. Snow and Neely Hudson Bay pattern, which what I think is on the original handle. If you have a good idea of what these specific axes came on back in the day. The only thing I can make out is the end of the word official there. So when I picked up this this axe, the seller who's running the flea market, the indoor one, said that there's an older gentleman in town that finds old tools, kind of fixes them up and sells them. And this was there with a number of other things. So I think he had whoever the previous guy who had touched it sanded some of the handle off, because this is definitely really smooth, and it feels like probably some Danish oil or something like that on it. But yeah, really nice Tall Eye Hudson Bay Snow and Neely. Stamped on the bottom here. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to make it out, but it's stamped 1 3/4, so 1 3/4 pounds. Really nice little camp axe, boys axe, whatever you want to call it. But happy I found that one. The original, what I believe is the original steel wedge in there too. I'm doing some research. I believe that's how all the older Snow and Neelys came too. So it's that one steel wedge in the center, which is kind of unique. And at that same indoor flea market, I picked up this screwdriver. I really don't know much about this manufacturer, but it was in really nice condition. Again, I think that older gentleman had already cleaned it up, but it was a really good price, so couldn't pass it up. I just really liked the look of it. And the other screwdriver I picked up was one of these 4-in-1s. I've seen these around before. Usually they're kind of beat up, and the reason it's a 4-in-1 is you can unthread the end cap here, and it houses another screwdriver, kind of like the Russian nesting doll theory. So there's 4 screwdrivers in one. I'm not sure how well you can see all that, but it's a tiny little one in there. So whenever I've come across these in the past, it's usually missing one or most of the ones inside. So the fact that it was a complete set, I liked it, and they had it marked for $5, so it's a handy one. I like the brass on it too. Knurling's really nice, so good condition, not beat up. So pick that up. I don't remember the order I got it, but I suppose that doesn't really matter. I just picked this up at a garage sale. I stopped. This is really kind of the only thing that the seller had that interests me, but older, like folding military shovel. It is frozen in this position right now, so I'll have to put some, penetrating oil on that and see if it'll loosen up and see if I can get it to actually fold. But yeah, looks like the handle's in good condition. Looks nice. It is stamped on the side here, made in Japan. Not sure how much that was on camera, but yeah, stamped on that side here, made in Japan. It looks like it's in good condition if I can get those threads to loosen up and actually start moving. Which I think if I, hit it with some PB Blaster or soak in some WD-40, it'll eventually loosen up. So the next ones I picked up were nice big old file. This is $4. It feels like it's still sharp. I know there's some videos on there out online about how to sharpen sharpen a file with acid. So maybe I'll try that one of these days, but in the meantime, it still feels like it'll cut good. So I'm sure you'll be able to pick this up either, but it is an old Nicholson, so especially if I can sharpen it up with acid, I think it's worthwhile. Again, Nicholson's a good brand. So it's made in older ones where it's made in the USA. Happy about that. Then picked up this wood rasp. See, this one's stamped clear cut. Not really sure how old this one is. Like I said, the teeth, even though it's rusted, still feel, really sharp. So it'll be handy for thinning down handles and shaping them up. I picked up a couple hammers. This is I believe it's a 3-pound. It's 40 ounce. So it's 40 ounce Craftsman. I don't really need another cross peen hammer, but they had it marked for $2, so I couldn't pass it up. Probably end up giving this one to a friend. I don't think it's super old. It is stamped with the wear safety goggles, but it is in nice condition. Like the head's a little bit rusted and the handle's kind of shot, but throw a new handle on it for a couple more bucks and it'll be a real good user. So that was a nice one. And then I picked up this little guy. It's a little tack hammer for another $2. So I've got a 2-year-old or 3-year-old son who likes coming out in the garage with me and hammering tacks into random pieces of wood. So for $2, I think it's a nice little hammer that he can use, and it's a little bit lighter weight than some of the other ones, so he can have his own designated hammer. I'm fixing that up for him one of these days. So one of the next ones that I got was this one here, which did come with a head on it, but I got impatient prior to making this video and ended up pulling it. I bought this axe specifically just for the handle because I liked it. It's an older vintage one, it feels great. It's a tiny little bit warped, but really not too bad. Tiny little bit of bow in the center, but it looks like the palm swell lines up with the tongue decently. So when I hang something on it, it should come out good. Unfortunately, they did mark it $15, which is what I paid for the whole axe complete. I think I've got either a video clip or a picture of the head itself. It was just an older square box plum Michigan pattern that was on here that I ended up pulling and selling now. It's actually on its way to Iowa right now, but yeah, so I pulled that to save the handle for it. Use that for another head. And I picked up this one. The handle on this one, actually picked this up yesterday. The handle on this one is completely shot. You can see it's one split out, but all wormhole eaten. But I haven't cleaned this up at all yet, so you might not be able to make it out. But this one does say, obviously Michigan pattern with the phantom bevels. But this one does say True Temper. I believe it's a Kelly Perfect. Don't know. I don't think it's a flint edge. I think it's just a 2-line, not a 3-line. If you're not familiar with what 2-line versus 3-line is, it'd be like True Temper, Kelly Perfect. That'd be 2 lines. It's 2 lines of text, whereas 3 lines would be, True Temper, Flint Edge, Kelly Perfect. It'd be 3 lines. So usually when these axe heads, you're talking about them, the more lines of text, the more desirable it is. Well, and depending on what the text is too. So, but overall, it's in good condition. It's in okay condition. It's really pretty rusted and pitted, but I do think this will clean up pretty good. The pull's not too mushroomed, just a little bit, but I'll bring in for a little closer look here. True Temper Kelly Perfect. Yeah, it is just a 2-line, but still a nice head. Especially for what I paid for it. I paid $15 for this one, and this one all together. So essentially $5 for each, which I'm happy with. Since we were just talking about this one, I'll pull that one up next. I should be able to save for the handle for this one. It is nice and straight. It is really terrible with run out. You can see you can follow the grain. It runs out, and you can, if you follow the top of here, you can see all those growth rings right on the top. So probably not a great user handle, but I might throw it on an axe that I don't actually plan on swinging at all. So, but this is a Michigan pattern. It has the ribs in the eye. So I can almost guarantee it's a wood slasher. Not 100% sure, but usually indicative of that with the red paint. Usually a pretty good giveaway. I don't see any stamping on the handle, but it could have been. Yeah, overall, the head's really in decent shape. A little bit of mushrooming on the pole, but nothing terrible. So in theory, I should be able to flip this one head on eBay and get back easily what I paid for all 3 of them. So couldn't pass it up. Now I'm justifying a lot more purchases than I really need to. But then next one I got was this guy. I believe it is just a wide pattern Dayton. Maybe it's a Connecticut pattern, but it really doesn't taper in at the pole like most Connecticut patterns do. Most Connecticut patterns, taper in here. And the shape of it just doesn't really say Connecticut pattern. To me, it says wide Dayton. But let me know what you think. If you think it looks like something else or a different pattern, definitely let me know. I think I probably err on the side of calling most things Dayton when they might be, Delaware or something similar. But I don't see any stamps on it yet, but I also haven't cleaned it up yet, and this has got some pretty heavy pitting. There might be something in there, might be something along there. Real hard to say. A lot of scaly rust in the eye, so hopefully eye walls feel thick enough that it shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see. Feels heavy, probably about 4 pounds, maybe a little less. But I liked it. Again, for $5. Interesting enough pattern I didn't want to pass up, so. Then there's the big Connecticut in the back, or what I think is a Connecticut. So this one's seen some abuse for sure. I originally bought this one because it looks like it has a really tall eye on it, and I was going to pull this handle and use it on a big fire axe that I have. But the eye on this one is absolutely beat to hell. You can see some remnants of copper on there. I had this in the vise before, and I was hitting on this with my copper hammer while I had the vice grips on this. It looks like someone just pounded a steel rod right in there. Maybe it's a hunk of drill bit. I'm not really sure, but I cannot get it out to save my life so far. So I think what I'm probably going to end up having to do is cut this handle, drive it out. I've seen online where others have driven some wedges and stuff in here and then hammered these eyes flat, kind of bring them back, revive them a little bit. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll see if someone wants to buy it as is. It's definitely really wide, what I think is a Connecticut pattern. But like I said, usually one of the telltale signs of a Connecticut pattern is it tapers in at the eye, and this pole, or it tapers in at the pole, and this pole is so mushroomed that maybe it really did at one point. It's hard to say. Yeah. We'll see. That may have been $10 poorly spent. But yeah, it's fun to go out and hunt for them anyways. This is another one that I got yesterday. So the seller wanted $35 for it, which honestly was reasonable, but I was able to talk him down to $20. So I'm very happy with that purchase. Especially since, I would pay $20 for it online, and then I had to pay probably another $20 in shipping. But thankfully, since it was local, shipping is free. So it came with a sheath on it. I believe this is an old Boy Scout axe sheath. So really not that great of a sheath, but kind of neat. Unfortunately, the handle on it is pretty warped. If you look down it, yeah, that's pretty good shot. So maybe I'll give a go at steam bending at some point, but until I kind of get a setup for that, I'll probably pull this handle and just save it. Obviously pull it carefully, but save it. I think this is the original handle. If not, whoever rehung it did a pretty clean job. The wedge is pretty thin, so it might not be original. And there's some hammering up top here, so maybe it is a rehang. Which would line up with me not finding a Craftsman stamp on here. Even if it is a rehang, it is an older handle for sure, which does feel really good. It's a shame that it's warped. Chances are it's probably leaning up against a wall somewhere, and with the heavy head introducing that stress on it, they do tend to, really can't see that well. But, the head leaning against the wall, it'll bow it over time. So you really want to hang an axe on some kind of rack. But give you a closer look at the head. So it's a double oval Craftsman. If you've watched my other Craftsman collection video, I'm a fan of that stamp. So it's a Michigan pattern, boy's axe. This may have been a house axe head at some point. It feels pretty light, but it is in nice condition, so I'm excited for it. That rust is definitely just superficial, not deep at all. No mushrooming on the pull whatsoever. Like I said, the pitting really isn't deep at all. So, yeah, that was the last find. Excited for it. My son was just out in the garage with me today, and he saw it sitting on the bench there, and he was talking about it. He said it looked really cool, so maybe I'll end up fixing this one up for him to use down the road. So we'll see, but this is probably one that will stay in the collection. This is definitely another one I'm interested to clean up and see if any kind of stamp surface on it. It's an interesting looking pattern, so I think it's a wide Dayton. Whereas if you're talking about another Dayton, this would be a standard Dayton. This is, it follows all the same lines as a standard Dayton, just taller eye, taller bit. So let me know what you think. If you think it's a Dayton, if you think it's something else. I'd be curious to see. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for me hopefully actually doing some work on something soon.